My name is Olivia Gonzales, and I'm your host of the Washington Square News' Op-Ed Live. Today we'll be discussing the costs and benefits of activism on the internet. And we have two panelists here with us today. Would you care to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Michael Youhana. I am a politics student at Gallatin. I write in my free time. I've written for The Nation and the Jerusalem Report, and I am interested in cyber activism. I've written a few articles on the topic.
Welcome, Michael.
Hey everyone, my name is Alec Foster. I'm a junior in Steinhardt studying media culture, communication, and politics and computer science. Right now I'm an intern in the mayor's office in the NYC digital team, where we work on liaising with startups and just making New York the most technologically advanced city. I also founded and am the president of NYU's chapter of Students for Sensible Drug Policy, which is an activism group that functions heavily that focuses heavily on ending the war on drugs. And I'm also a former White House intern that sat on the Presidential Committee on Innovation. Welcome
to you both. So on top of all of the cultural benefits and the drawbacks that can come with internet activism, I'm curious as to how both of you think a balance should be struck between looking out for national and domestic security and enabling the First Amendment rights of the people who use the internet to be respected. So
I feel like I can be more illustrative of the nuance on my position regarding this topic if I start by saying what I'm opposed to. And I am opposed to, I'd say, a handful of new sort of cyber phenomena. One I'd classify as cyber espionage, and that would be, say, the Russian intelligence ministry accessing the Pentagon database to steal plans for a Northrop Grumman satellite or some nuclear weapon that's being built. That is bona fide espionage, and I'm opposed to that. I'm also opposed to cyber sabotage, and say, for example, if Iran and Israel start blowing up each other's financial sectors with a virus to sort of leave each other's economies in shambles, I think that's pretty problematic.
That could lead to starvation.
Yeah.
There's much more problems
right.
worse than people not having their money from
right.
sabotage.
Right. This is what I'm opposed to it for that reason. I'd say I'm also opposed to bona fide cyber robbery, like mafia groups stealing people's social security numbers en masse, or basically bank robbery online. What I'm more sympathetic to, it tends to be online activism. And just like offline activism, online activism has a component of online activism is civil disobedience. And in principle, I think civil disobedience can be justified online, just as it can be justified offline. And I don't really think that we should make a distinction when prosecuting civil disobedience online and offline, and or a moral distinction between the two.
Alec, where do you think the line gets fuzzy between activism and cyber threat?
That's a very good question. I think that, well, in any context, whether you're online or offline, there's very explicit laws against organizing to overthrow the government. And it's very explicit, even in job applications not related to the government. That's often a question you're asked. And I guess it does get a little fuzzy when trying to decide whether you are constructively critiquing the policies that our country might have, and in any number of issues, or whether you are actively perpetrating or advancing the idea that we should abolish our government. And I think at that point there is that I guess the Secret Service or the government, or I guess any government police force does have an authority to step in.
So I suppose I should clarify what I mean by civil disobedience. And it's not advocating for an outright insurgency or rebellion. When I say civil disobedience, what I mean is a group of people getting together to basically apply pressure, usually via the violation of the law, via the conscious violation of the law, to advocate for a specific goal, a political goal, not an anarchistic goal, but for advocating for, I mean, this last weekend, I think Daryl Hannah, who's an actress, purposely broke a law in DC
I totally see where you're coming from, but
protest the XL pipeline.
I don't think activists need to break laws in order to have a strong effect. In fact, I think that what you're starting to see with newer activists you no longer have like the stereotype of like the activists with dreads trying to legalize pots. The pot activists look like me, and we're wearing suits, and we're not smoking pot on the city steps. We're using the internet now to organize like hundreds of thousands of students to sign letters and send emails and lobby their senators.
Right, and
like that's using real like organizing tools that we've had that parties use, that the Democratic Party uses, and just transferring them to a different set of principles and using new tools.
That's certainly preferable. In my piece on the topic, I sort of distinguish maybe what some of the benefits would be. One from not going that route, and one is there's a sort of expediency and a sort of extra dramatic effect that occasionally civil disobedience can have in some situations. I mean, it's very content dependent.
Open any history book, like the people that you remember are the ones that did not go along
I don't know that we've gotten to a
rules.
point where civil disobedience is obsolete.
Thank you very much to both of you for joining us tonight, and thank you for watching. Email all comments and any kind of ideas for future op-ed live topics to opinion@nyunews.com.